Allah, keep, falsehood away from us. Allahumma amin. Jazakallah khair. It's okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم أما بعد يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث أصلح لشاني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brother and sister and elderly. My name is Iftikhar Siddiqui. I have been in America for 32 years and Texas in the DFW area since 1994. Alhamdulillah, I'm married with my beloved wife, Aisha Siddiqui, and I have 7 kids, mashallah. And Alhamdulillah means I have worked in the DFW area with the support of my wife since my son was in the kindergarten. So I was one of the pioneers in Islamic School of Irving for 4 years. Then I moved to this area in 2003. So that time there was a need for the masjid. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the tawfiq that I get involved in NAPIC. And I ask you to pray, make the dua for our brother Tahir As-Sumeri. He was one of the pioneers in this masjid. So I always remember him. When I walk, I see my own qabr, because we have to go back and we have to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Alhamdulillah means I have worked since 2003, 2009. Then after that I moved for my children. I took some break, Alhamdulillah, for 4 years because the children, they were teenagers. So Alhamdulillah, I was able to help them. 3 of them, that they were on the full scholarship. I don't have to pay any single penny. So also you are working on it, sometimes you need to pay attention to your family also. So I have provided the document to Election Commission, what the 9 steps we can work on it, which is bring to community together, because I asked them to give at least 3 minutes so we can explain. But I hope they will post this 9 points. The way you need to implement the community, you need to have a collaboration. We need to start this. See, I will not be able to.
Jazakallah khair. Ready? Sure.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My name is Saad Mirza, and I've been in this community since 2009. I have 2 kids, 6.5 years old and 2.5 years old. And by profession, again, I'm a network engineer. So regarding my vision, or maybe a wish list, I would say we have to have some kind of main distinction between how to run such a big organization, Islamic organization, versus a corporate America. And we have to give higher place to our imam and our ustad and all the religious scholars. And bring some, I think another important point is have to have whoever is going to get elected should have some humbleness in their nature. That is the key thing. Besides, everybody already mentioned about the unity. That's for a given thing. That's the one thing which we all have to work together. Another thing which I notice is the gray area, which we all see in the Constitution, right? Because of that gray area, we have a lot of confusion. I think we have to fix this thing. We have to give our Constitution Committee the rights, and then they should work on it, may have some more and more iteration, and get it approved by the general body. Right now, what I see, our operating cost is somewhere between $70,000 to $90,000. And then with the addition of the new facility, it's only going to increase, right? So next board, I hope we have to come up with something that could generate that additional operating cost. That's another important thing. Finally, parking is another issue. Right now, we do have some gravel parking. It would be great if we, Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My name is Ashar Khan. I've been with this community since 2005. Alhamdulillah, Epic has been near and dear to my heart, and my family's heart too. This is really the only masjid that we mostly frequent. I've been part of the facilities committees for the past 5-6 years. I've been served as a secretary for the IT committee, a term or two. As a professional, I'm an IT professional. Work for a software company. For the vision, EPIC, I would like to see EPIC become, the hub for our community, to provide the, quality Islamic guidance and religious services to the communities in the surrounding cities. I see EPIC with more renewed focus towards youth activities. Youth will be, they be the torchbearers of tomorrow. They're going to be running the affairs of our Masjid tomorrow, so, we always need to keep them in mind when making plans. We have a new gym coming up for the new board. That'd be a challenge to come up with whatever the additional money that they have to raise, because it started, we need to finish it. And then it doesn't end there. We have to then figure out ways to how to manage that facility, because it's going to be heavily used by our youth, boys and girls, adults, little kids. So we have to come up with good policies and procedures to manage that. And I kind of echo with what Brother Saad said. We have to figure out some innovative ideas to generate more money, income for the masjid, rather than relying on just the donations, which has been primarily the method choice. Jazakallah khair.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. By the way, the two candidates who are not here, I'll take their 2 minutes also. My name is Fawad Mansouri. I moved from Florida in this area about 2.5 years ago. Florida, in that community, I lived about 18 years. By profession, I'm a CPA, and I've been working for the last 20 years in the accounting and tax professional. So, by the way, I will not answer any tax questions tonight. So, since we have only 2 minutes, I'm not going to repeat several of the things which has already been said, and and I welcome you all to, as far as the vision is concerned, the election committee asked for the profile, which I've sent in, and I welcome you all to read that. But in addition to that, I just want to add that the ideal board member candidate for a non-profit organization they can bring to the organization, it's a concept which we call the concept of 3 T's: time, treasure, and talent. Time, we all agree that that's very crucial. If somebody who's not willing to spend their time, it's not a very viable for a board candidate. Talent, everybody brings some kind of talent from their professional life, and then that translates, they bring that talent to the organization, which helps in the success of that organization. And treasure, one of the crucial element of the board member is to continuously raise funds for the organization. And in that area, as a vision, what I like to add is that Muslim organization, we continuously seek donation. What I like to implement something that we start thinking in some kind of established endowment. And, so that endowment can be used for future growth and future operations.
Thank you, Baba.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Some of you have already heard me, but this is going to be a repetition. And since nothing has changed since the last time we met, my name is Syed Ali. I've been living here in this community for the last 12 years. I am an engineer by profession, and I work in the IT field. And I'm a father of 3 kids who have all grown up here in this community. In my spare time, I like to play volleyball, and inshallah, I'm just waiting to move into the multipurpose hall so that we can play volleyball together, inshallah. I've also seen this community grow tremendously over the last couple of years, and we are all a part of the success and the growth of EPIC. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all of you for the support, reward our founding members, the past and present board members, our scholars, the imam and the ustad, for their contribution to the growth of EPIC. I have been a part of the previous two, I've been a part of two boards before. I was part of the previous board when we were building this masjid, and I've also contributed to the growth of EPIC in a number of areas, including working on policies and procedures, amending the constitution, revamping our website and bringing in automation through a number of processes. I've worked on the IT infrastructure in this masjid, including the wireless, the sound system, the live streaming. I've worked on organizing educational events and seminars to empower our youth and our community. And I've worked on a number of other things. I was actually also part of the Constitution Committee. I was working to bring in amendments to the Constitution to strengthen the Constitution. The reason that I'm running is for two reasons. One, because I love EPIC, and it's a great responsibility and honor to serve in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And two, bi'idhnillah, if I'm given a chance, I'd like to contribute positively.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. My name is Kashif Saeed. The only reason and my intention and desire to run on this board is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, and serve this community. By profession, I'm a software engineer. I've been living in this area, East Plano, for the last 14 years. I volunteered on the board of Carrollton Masjid back in 2004. I volunteered on the Sunday school when we were in Old Musalla. I've been part of the facility committee for the last 2 years. My vision for EPIC is to keep the community united by being more transparent. Build trust between the board and the community, especially the volunteers. The volunteers are backbone of this EPIC, backbone of EPIC. The board cannot afford to lose their trust. With the multipurpose and the gym coming soon, inshallah, I'd like to support more recreation programs to attract both youth and adult. Lastly, continue to support social service programs that will improve the well-being of both Muslims and non-Muslims, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Wasim Maga. I'm also IT professional. I've been here since last 25 years in this community and have served in many boards. I have served in EPIC boards for 10 years from day one, and also Islamic school, IQA. And as far as vision, 17 years ago, we created a vision where all you sitting right now, that was our vision. Alhamdulillah, founding members and the board after that, they fulfill all the vision. The only thing's missing from here is a school. And right now, I have 3 objectives, what I'd like to achieve if I get elected. One is building the unity, which you probably saw on the last town hall meeting. It was a clear division. That's very important. We need to build the unity. And second is transparency. And the third one is preserve the building. We are building, but we need to take care of this building. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Razwan Khan. Professionally, I'm a physician. Moved from Urbana-Champaign, Illinois 2 years ago, so I'm new to this community. But as soon as I moved to Plano, I fall in love with the community in no time, and I love this EPIC. It's close to my heart. The day we moved here, I was looking for the opportunity to help this community, and alhamdulillah, I will be honored if I elected to help this community. When I moved from Urbana-Champaign, Dallas, I was working there as the chief of psychiatrist and associate professor. And I have been serving different board members. Currently, I'm serving on 2 board members. One is Dallas Muslim Medical Alliance. And luckily, I'm co-founder, director, and board member of Obed Helpers. I have some experience, some knowledge, so I can implement those things, if possible, to make EPIC as an EPIC. In my vision, EPIC is a mosque. We want to change this mosque as an institute. Institute for us, institute for our children. We have to build the bridge between the community, within the community, and for community. People talking about the division. and I don't see any division. We are Group A or Group B. We are all for Epic. If you elect any one of us, they're all going to do a good job for Epic, because Epic is our heart and Epic is our future. Alhamdulillah. I have 15 more seconds. Thank you very much. The thing which I want to say, that when I come to the board, I will affiliate to myself first, to know the problem first. After knowing the problem, then I can do something better job. Thank you. Jazakallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Samir Siddiqui. I've been part of this community for 12, 13 years now. Personally, I have, from a personal life, I have two girls, a teenager and almost a teenager. They both are fast, mashallah. The reason I'm saying this is one of their inspiration. They said, you know, we've heard that on the day of the judgment, the parents of the Hufaz will be given a crown, and we want to give you that, inshallah. So may Allah protect our kids. So professionally, I'm a computer engineer. I work as the head of engineering. I manage development, QA, and DevOps for a SaaS company. The vision for Epic is very similar to what the brothers have mentioned, but I think it is really important for us to reiterate the importance of our unity. So if Allah has decreed for me to serve in the next board, my number one mission is going to attenuate the differences, attenuate the reasons for the differences that we have, and then make sure that bring unity to Epic, inshallah. That is of paramount. The second is the youth. Alhamdulillah, we do a lot for youth. We're building a big gym and whatnot for the youth, alhamdulillah. But our focus has been more from teenagers like 17 and up. But we need to focus on ages between 9 and 15. We somehow do a little bit less for that age group, and they feel left out. So I think, and that's the perfect age for us to, inshallah, build their characters and convert them into leaders, inshallah, identify them and have better influence on them, inshallah. That will be my focus, inshallah, of the youth. The third is the most important thing is the following the process and procedures down to the wire, inshallah. And I think that what I mean by that is having a process is one thing, but following it and implementing it down to the wire is what's going to help us change, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Barakallahu fikum. Jazakallah khair. Jazakumullahu khairan to all of the candidates. This wraps up the first part of the event. Now we move on to the second part. Now, I just heard that a couple of questions were sent in for the Imam. Imam, are you listening? So the last I knew, the Imam was not running for the board of directors. So please don't send any questions for the Imam. Now, how will this second part conducted? So the Q&A will be moderated, which means that written questions will be collected from the community and will be screened to ensure that they are relevant for why we are here, relevant for the purpose of election, questions that add value. Personal attacks, innuendos, speculations of any kind, whether from the questioners or from the answerers, will not be permitted. This is not part of the rules that we are going to conduct ourselves under. Now, each candidate would be given exactly 1 minute to answer a question, and at 45 seconds, the bell will sound, which means that you have another 15 seconds to conclude your remarks, inshallah ta'ala. No clapping, no chanting, no interruption. Please look at them. If I could do it without delaying the process, I will kiss all of them on their foreheads. Why? Because they have agreed to dedicate 2 years of their life. And I'm told that the board members are spending anywhere from, on a lean week, 10 hours, and on a busy week, 30 hours a week. That's a tremendous sacrifice of time that they are making, a time that they could have spent with their families just like we do. So please love them, aid them, help them, support them. And do not cheer at anybody's answer, because by implication you are putting down the other person for whom you did not cheer. And also remember the golden rule. Who can remind us what is the golden rule of Islam and of other religions as well? What is the golden rule? So treat others like you would like yourself to be treated. In other words, don't treat others if you don't want to be treated like that. So show reciprocity, kindness, and respect, mutual respect. And we heard about, how, we feel that the community doesn't have the same positive vibe that we used to have when we had a musalla and we were in each other's faces. We will spread out the tarp and we will eat, in front of each other. Now, mashallah, the masjid has grown, and what we are missing is the same level of brotherhood, sisterhood, and love. So without further ado, inshallah, the way they will do, they will pass on the question to me. And please, if you are a doctor, then you can be excused for scribbling. But if you're not a doctor, I would like legible questions that I can read, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, I need a young person to carry this microphone, inshallah. Portable microphone to anybody who... Well, actually, yes. You would be the right person, okay? When I motion, inshallah, you would move. All right. And also, if you want to address a question to a specific person, please write their name on that card. That makes my task easy. This is a question to everyone. Which committee did you volunteer in the last 2 years, and when did you join the committee and your role specifically? So again, which committee did you volunteer for in the last 2 years, and when did you join the committee and your role specifically?
Starting with the it's for everybody. It's for everybody. So 1 minute each. I think I was a part of facility committee as well as social services, specifically on the Ansar group. Some of you who are new here, you may have received email if you have signed up for the Ansar tab in our website. Also have served in some capacity with the sports committee. So those are pretty much, but I do not know the exact date when I joined it, but since right after leaving the 5th board, I continued my volunteer services with the current board.
So in the past 2 years, I've been mainly with the outreach committee. I'm also with the communications committee, the little work that they did, and as well as advisor to the youth committee.
I've been with outreach committee for about 4 or 5 years. I don't remember exactly when I joined. I was with special events back then as well, which turned into security and parking, and now security. So outreach for 4 or 5 years, security for a while.
Assalamu alaikum. I went to 2015 Hajj. Right after I came back, I joined social service, and I worked with the refugee programs, and we had alhamdulillah, very good program during the month of Ramadan. We covered for the Rohingya brothers in a whole month, and Masjid actually had a surplus on that. We sometimes come short and Masjid pitch in, but this time we had a surplus, and we were able to help 100%, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I've been with since 2013 when I moved back here in Epic, so I've been in the outreach committee, and then working what you call the Ramadan events and all other events also, especially all the rivers also. You see Brother Jalil every Sunday also work with Islam in Spanish, also do some of the events too. Outreach committee mostly.
Okay, so parking, also adopted street via social services, and also I was part of the election commission committee as well.
So last 2 years, I guess. So I've been active with the currently with the facilities committee and with the IT committee currently.
I joined the outreach committee, I believe, just a couple of weeks after moving in the area, so it's been a little over 2 years. I've been involved with the outreach committee in planning several events, you may have noticed. Attended several interfaith events with the imam and, visiting other faith communities and planning the events which held here at EPIC. So about a little over 2 years with outreach committee.
Assalamu alaikum. So I've volunteered and helped out in the IT committee. I've also volunteered for the media and communications committee that was formed not a long time ago. Also volunteered in the EPIC Constitution Review Committee for making constitutional amendments. I'm also volunteered in the Education Committee to organize events and seminars and educational programs for our community here.
Assalamu alaikum. I've been part of facility committee for the past 2 years, mainly in the parking area. I've helped also in the other part of facility committee, such as food services.
I have not served any committee for the last 2 years, but served before that 5 years in the EPIC First Masjid, which is First Masala is renting right now.
Assalamu alaikum. I have served in social service. My specific job more for Ansar group. We were trying to enroll people, register people, whoever new people came to our community. That was my main area, my main focus, to enroll all the new people who are coming to our facilities and feeling them welcome here in this community.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm being tested as the serving member of the current board, and I'm liaison for the IT and the facilities committee. Cleaning is basically my important thing that I love to do. Having said that, basically going through the board, I just want to say, you go through a lot of things, and then working with some of the brothers in the board, I cannot thank enough for some of the things that I have learned from them, especially our Amir, Brother Junaiddin. I've seen very few people of such high moral characters, so may Allah bless him and protect him, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
No questions, no comments, please.
Please, as has been explained, the only way to ask question is through in the written form, okay? Inshallah ta'ala. There is no time for us. And also, I hope people don't ask a question that everybody has to answer, because we'll be sitting till midnight. Next question. I would like to hear from Brother Iftikhar about his 9 points.
What's the 9 point I came from? Because I was involved in Islamic serving, where we had it, what you call, we led the strategic committee.
Facilities. Maybe this also needs.
So what we need to do, as we know, because we are already growing, is right. So what in Irving we have done is a similar thing, is called a strategic planning committee, which is we need to bring the thinkers and the planners. We need to look at. Oh man. Okay. What we need to do, we need to involve, like the way we want to bring the unity, we need to involve the committees. We need to involve the people, those expertise, okay, in the area of finance, area of youth, area.
This one.
I'm sorry. So strategic planning committee expertise to short-term and the long-term goals, 5, 10, 25 years old, 25 years plan. Why is it key back on? It's me? Okay. Okay. In the area of social justice, outreach, civic engagement, education, with the goals of raising future leaders for this nation. BOT and the community bridge to have continuous open dialogues and the feedback from the members and the volunteers. Invest in the online technology. If you have noticed it that we have the issues with membership, we should have every single person in this community should have a membership portal. We should have originally the information about our services. People, they should be able to look, they should be able to provide the feedback through that system. We should involve the sisters itself, because sisters, the critical part, the feedback from them, so we can provide the better services for them. Youth has to be involved. We need to give them the scholarship opportunities, especially in the area of the civic engagement.
Okay, so the next question is for brothers Saad and brother Javed Isa. How do you think the EPIC operational expenses can be cut down from 90K to 70K? Please point out to me if I have misread your question, because it was, the numbers were in reverse order. So from, how would you cut it down? And I don't know, the brother knows something that I don't. Right now it's 90K. So from 90K to 70K.
Per month?
Okay.
That's just the range from 70K to 90K monthly expenses. How can you cut down from?
Oh, it's a hypothetical question? Okay. If it were 90K per month, I guess, how would you cut it down to 70K? And you would need this.
I'm not sure about the specific from 90 to 70. That's numbers. Could be a percentage that if you can come up with. At this time, it's kind of difficult to, by knowing what the expenses are, because I'm not in the current board. But we can generate some revenue to compensate for those, because inshallah with the new facility, we can rent out, we can, I heard somebody can confirm there's a babysitting, full facility babysitting available, so we can have a babysitting facility here at the Masjid. We could also expand our Hifz school to make one of the nation's best full-time Hifz school, including the homeschooling, because that's service that we do not provide at the Masjid here. Those are services also, the medical clinic that we have, and the waqf that we have, to the current basketball court. So we can do those kind of things, inshallah.
Okay. So I really don't know the answer to your question, because we really have to come up with some innovative approach. We have to brainstorm this thing, not only within the board, but also getting the feedback from the community. Once we have the feedback, hopefully, like, come up with some new programs and stuff, and then try to come up with, generate some new operation costs and stuff.
Jazakallah khair. Next question, and Brother Amir, Brother Jumu'ah, Brother Khalid, Brother Mohsin, pay close attention. This is in Urdu. I will translate, inshallah. So it says, agar aap select na ho paye, to aapka vision EPIC ke liye kya hoga? If you are not selected, meaning not elected, what would your vision be for EPIC at that point?
Is it for specific for someone or something?
It is not specific to anyone, and it doesn't say it's general, so whoever wants to answer this. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. So, and that should be in all of our minds. I think we all want the same thing for this community, so there should not be any differences. But in what we feel, I think you heard it from all of us. If I'm not selected, I would still want all of my brothers over here to do the same things that most of us said. Sorry about that. It makes me feel, because you're hearing the voice come back. So, so if not selected, everything that you heard here should still be implemented.
Assalamu alaikum. for the right board member, it doesn't matter if you're in position or not, because leadership does not require a position. These visions, these conversations that we're having, it's not because we're trying to be part of the board. Yeah. Technical difficulties.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So as I was saying, it's not because we're trying to be part of a board. These are not buzzwords and fluffy messages. These are real emotions of people. So whether we're elected or not elected, the vision stays the same because it's our community. It's not going to change. So we make it better, and that's regardless of position. It doesn't matter.
You don't have to be in it. It's okay. I already mentioned that as long my risk is here and I'm not moved out, and my jobs and let stay here, I would love to be a volunteer as long I can,
Yeah, inshallah. Same thing, yeah, because if we are here means if we are not selected or elected, it doesn't matter. Because if we have the intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the reward. But also is accountability that we need to continue support the organization. It doesn't matter we are here or we are sitting there. Inshallah. Yes, go ahead.
As you begin to speak, mention your name again.
Okay. Anyone else?
We're not seeing you. I guess they're seeing. Say your name.
Okay, Ashar Khan. So the liking is really not to the position, it's to this masjid. So, even if we were sitting on that side, the vision doesn't change.
Fawad Mansouri. If I'm not elected, basically I'm in this community, part of the community, and the board, based on my expertise, which earlier did not have the time to mention that I was part of CARE Florida board and treasurer for about 7-8 years. And since I've moved here, they still won't let me go. So I'm still helping out in whatever capacity I can. So any help, whoever is elected for the board, they need for my expertise, I'm available based on my time and availability anytime.
So is it possible to do something about it?
Yeah, this is a receiver issue. We have to bounce the receiver on the other side. So
How long will it take? 5 minutes? Allow us 5 minutes so that he will bounce it, inshallah, the receiver, so that I think it will be reset.
This is omnidirectional. So if you hold it like this and talk, it's not going to work. So you have to hold it on the side. Oh, try.
If you lose all sound, which means that he has turned it off.
Okay, I'd rather wait rather than get off.
If this silence is hard on you, you can make some azkar, right? Ma'am Nadeem, any special dhikr for waiting for the mic to be fixed? Bismillah. 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 Okay. Use that one, inshallah. Put it in my ear.
Bismillah. So if I'm not elected, I would say Alhamdulillah, and I would wish whoever is elected the best of luck and give them all my support. And my vision for EPIC would still be the same, and that is that I would like to see EPIC to be a strong and vibrant community with very sound policies and procedures that will minimize conflict and will also cater to the needs of our diverse and
Assalamu alaikum. We're all sitting here as volunteers, so either we elected or elected or not elected. I think that role will not change. We'll continue to support Masjid in whatever effort we can put in, inshallah, and whatever capacity.
Assalamu alaikum. Your vision should remain the same regardless you're in and out.
A very interesting question. The only thing is different is the responsibility and accountability. When I say EPIC is my home, so not in the office, I will be responsible for everything, but not accountable. That's the difference. I can answer, I can ask questions to other people. That is the difference between, but I will do whatever I can do in all capacity to help EPIC, regardless.
Yeah, that's an easy one. My name is Samir Siddiqui. I'm a volunteer with or in or outside of the board, alhamdulillah. So that's what it will be, inshallah.
All right, the next question is for Brother Javed. What is your vision to unite the community? What is your vision to unite the community?
Yeah, you already said my name, but my name is Muhammad Javed Isa. I think the best would be is dialogue and understand what the issues are and what is the core issue that's dividing us. It is not that polarized yet, but I think our Imam and Ustad can play a bigger role to bring this community together. We want to have some sit-downs with every one of us, and I was hoping to come up with some kind of a feedback system, some kind of a system which will be anonymous and people can give a feedback and ideas to the board, and we can act upon that, inshallah.
The next question is, what do you see the role of sisters in the community? And how do you, I'll allow only one of the two questions. So there are two questions here. I will allow only one question. What do you see the role of sisters, community, and anybody could answer that? Okay.
Sister, they play the so critical role. But what I see it from today means sister, they may not be joining what you call their. We do have the different committees originally, education committees. Some of the sisters are there, but I will recommend that we need to give it bigger role for the sister. Sister, they can have a parallel committees also for some of the areas because the sisters' needs is totally different. Some of the time, the sister they may not like to attend originally with the mix also. So we need to give them originally empower them that they should be able to handle their affairs freely, and they will be able to bring it to the board, and then we should provide them all the support in there. So bigger role.
The sisters are the backbone of this community. You have to remember that if you ever come here during the day, there are always sisters halakas going on upstairs. They use this masjid probably much more than us men do. And it is very important that they be part of every decision making that happens within this masjid. All the committees, mashallah, at least the ones that I have been on, have very, very active sisters. And these women will teach other women to become better mothers of the future of this generation. So it's important for us to keep them involved in just about everything in this.
Assalamu alaikum. Ahmed Al-Hassan. I think at the basic level, obviously and it's a surprise, there are no sisters running for the board because I think they should. I think at a minimum level, they need a voice, whether it's through committees, through leaderships in the masjid. But I think at the root level, we need to encourage them to attend and participate. And I'll be honest with you, the deen that's in my house came through my wife. She was the carrier of the deen in my house. She's the mother of my children. She teaches me and my children what is Quran and what is Sunnah. I'm not going to say she's the boss, but she is. Anyway, they have this desire and this passion to lead. I think we should just simply encourage them and allow them to lead based on vision, not tell them what to do.
Test 1 2 testing mic 1 2.
Jazakallah khair for the answer. Next question is: what are the plans for the youth beside sports activity? Anybody can answer that? Yes, Brother Iftikhar. The question again is: what are the plans? I guess what plans does EPIC have for the youth aside from sports activity?
So what we need to do for the youth, this is what it's watch my own kids grown up, be responsible. In that sense, we need to provide additional what you call the time management and other skills. So youth, they can manage their time. Currently, they are means like focus, what you call, they lose focus, especially when they are growing up, like 8th, 9th, 10th grade. Those are the critical time. So we need to offer them the classes. And for the youth, another things I suggested that as an EPIC community, we need to sponsor or provide a scholarship for the youth, those who are majoring in the political science, in the social science, because those are the critical area. We have many engineers, we have many doctors. We don't have in this area in the political science and the social. So we need to provide as EPIC as a scholarship and the leadership for those youth.
So this is very dear to me. We need mentors. It is so important that they have mentors. They live in this country, and they see what they see on television. And for them, their heroes and the people they look up to are not the ones that we would want. We need the community and the people in the community to come forward and become more engaged with them. We have very little engagement between the community and the youth. We also need for them to learn. I'm growing up. I remember when I was 18, 19 years old, I had already decided what I was going to do. But I see the youth today, and they're still not sure. So we need a lot of direction giving. There's a lot of experience in the area to go to colleges. We need our youth directors, the 2 youth directors that we have, to help them, for us to help these 2 expand the programs that they have, and our Imam and Ustad as well.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Riyad Chaudhuri. I just want to add one more thing that brother said, very good things, but inside the masjid, this is, we got to follow the proper Quran and Sunnah. Name calling inside the masjid is something we need to cut off first thing first, because this is what's going to pass to the youth. And we need to watch those, when we have the disagreement, we have to, we have the right to, agree to it, on a disagree. Like Brother Samir said that, and, in a different, I like that, but the thing is we have to start from ourselves, to stop name calling inside the masjid, because this is what they're learning. Before you can teach them, we can't teach them in a wrong direction. Assalamu alaikum.
Wants to address that particular question, let me ask another one. This is a little bit tough question, okay? But since it doesn't single out any one person, so I'm allowing this. The question is, why do you want to run? If it is to work and to serve the community, then you could do this without running. So whoever wants to address that. Again, why do you want to run? If it is to work and serve the community, then you could do this without running for the board.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Fawad Mansouri. I just want to share hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. One time the Prophet ﷺ in the masjid speaking to his companion, and the Bedouin came in and asked, "O Prophet ﷺ, when is the last day?" And Prophet continued to speak. After he finished his talk, he asked, where is the one who was asking for the last day? So he came, he said, here I am. He said, when the amana, the trust is lost, wait for the last day. So everybody who's sitting here, it's an amana and trust, and not just for these people, the people who are going to elect them, it's an amana for them. So basically, he continued, he asked another question, as says Prophet ﷺ, how the amana is lost. He says, when the leadership is given to the most undeserving people. So what I'm saying is that it's an amana not just for these people. When you select people, you have to exercise that amana in a right way to put the right people.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So I want to address the 3 questions that were asked. One about the participation of women. I think it's very important for us to make sure that women are equal partners in the growth and the success of EPIC. This is very critical right now in this day and age when there's a lot of stereotypes against Islam and Muslims, and having women be the representatives of Islam and Muslims, especially in outreach type of events, is really beneficial. Creates a good image for Islam and Muslims. The second question regarding youth, it goes back to creating EPIC as a strong institution. We do have a lot of activities that are happening for the youth, but if you have strong educational institution, then we can sustain those programs and have continued education for the youth. And then lastly, I concur with what Brother Fawad Mansouri mentioned about volunteering. So really don't have to be in the board. You can volunteer outside of the board as well.
This is Razwan Khan. I need to address 2 things quickly here about youth. Having a physician psychiatrist background, and our youth is a sandwich between the brown parents and white culture. We need to understand our youth are going through a depressive phase. They have a trouble adjusting in this environment. They don't have a person find that you can talk to their problem. They are getting into the drug habits. They are getting into the other habits. And we as a brown parents, we are not very well equipped how to handle this conflicts. We need somebody, a mentor, who can understand those things better and sit with the youth and guide them. It's important that we find someone from this culture. They can guide the youth, and that is very important for us. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name is Samir. I just want to address the last question. Why do you want to run for the board? Imam, correct me if I'm wrong. Our deen is so beautiful. It says that if you want to run for the board, you should be disqualified right off the bat. So I certainly don't want to run, inshallah. I don't think any one of the brothers is like really looking forward to run for the board in this case. The reason why I'm here is because a lot of the brothers, they have show trust and respect, and they really pushed us to come here and then take this responsibility. Now, Imam, once again, correct me. This is a responsibility which turns into a much less of a no-win situation, both in this dunya and even in the akhirah. So I think it is a tough thing, but out of our love to our masjid, inshallah, for the sake and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are all here, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
So as for myself, I will second all of the things that they have said, that I don't think any of us, or at least for me, that I want to run for this masjid. But I think this question should be directed to the people who actually nominated us, because they're the ones who asked us to run. So I mean, it is because of what they have convinced us, or at least in some cases forced us. So, but as for us, at least for myself, this is not this is a very, very big, very large responsibility, and on the day of judgment especially, more so for us than for anyone who is not going to be in this position, because the leaders are going to be brought in first and said, okay, so you are a leader, so now answer these questions. So it's a very, very large responsibility, which I personally am very scared to take on.
Yeah, as everybody have mentioned that we did not choose to come here. Obviously, the process is that somebody nominates you. I'm still, to this day, I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take me out with izzat, with the dignity. If this is not what it meant for me, if I don't have the ability, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not put me. But I also believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests people with their ability, and He puts people into their position to do the job for Him. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from all of us, because I'm sure all of us have a good intention to serve His deen and in this masjid, and that's what I can say, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. As everybody mentioned, there's not a need, there's not a want, it's are we capable, right? Obviously, we have people we respect in our lives that asked us, requested us, talked us into being up here. I think it's more about responsibility. We're human beings, and as we volunteer, in some instances we take it seriously, and in some instances we don't, because you're volunteering. When you're a board member and you have the responsibility of the entire community, I think the accountability is higher. So maybe I'm up here for my own accountability. I don't know, but yeah.
For the board means, as mentioned by the other brother, it is the amana, okay? And I think in the previous also I did mention it, that as a community, right here, if we look around, all of us, none of us, majority of them, we are not born in this country. So as a board members, when we are creating, we need to create. If in 10 years, that's why I mentioned last time too, if we are sitting here, is the 50% people, those who are not born here, they are not sitting here, we did not do our job. It means, so we have to, even though I'm not in the board or something else, we need to look into it, how we can bring those, change this dynamic.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that. The next question is, to those of you who have been in the EPIC board before, what are your lessons learned from your tenure at EPIC BOD, and what would you do differently if re-elected?
Alhamdulillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Obviously, the perfection only belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As human beings, we are vulnerable to making mistakes. Working with the board, everything that is good is all from Allah and His mercy. However, everything that is not good is basically the shortcoming of us, especially me. So there are many lessons learned that I have picked up from there. My experience being part of the current board. Inshallah, the things that I would do differently is be more, improve on our communication, make sure that we communicate more and we communicate more clearly, increase the participation of our community, and also basically teach, express very clearly exactly what we are doing, why we are doing, and so that way we can attenuate the differences and then address them.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Transparency is the one, like I said last time, transparency. What I would do or request a future board to do that, our financials and the board meetings should be posted on the bulletin board once a month. So most of the time division occurs due to lack of communication. If we are transparent and open, then people will know and they'll get their answers. And also, every quarter we should have a town hall or some kind of general body meeting with two-way communication with the community.
Assalamu alaikum. So the lessons learned, first, I've had the opportunity to work with some of the most dedicated and sincere volunteers in our community when I was in the 5th EPIC board and also in the 4th EPIC board. None of us are perfect. We are bound to make mistakes, but there are certain things that we can do, especially when we were in the 5th EPIC board. We were in the phase of construction, so we could not focus more on sound policies and procedures. Although we started working on some constitutional amendments, but just because of the construction phase, we just didn't have the time to complete. So I think going back to what I said previously, that we need to have an organization that is strong, and an organization is strong when you have sound policies and procedures that will cater to the needs of the diverse and the growing community that we have here.
So what I see, it means what you call from the that we need to have a clear, open dialogue with the community. Like I remember when we were like in 2003 till 2008, I asked some of the volunteers, because I was the one who used to lead the volunteer. I think Imran Chaudhary is one of the sitting right there. So I asked him what was those days. He said those were the golden days. So how we can bring those golden days? I looked into it the way means we need to apply really the rules. We are all brothers. We are not the friends originally. We need to treat everybody as a brother. And when you are listening to the community, this is Brother Javed Isa has mentioned, so you need to be open, listen to the community. Community will criticize you, will do it, but if you are open dialogue, listen to them, be empathy with them, be sympathy with them. That like elderly people, they come, right? So they are coming. Children, they are coming. The youth, they are coming. Sister, they open communication, which is the main key.
So we are no longer a small masalla that we started with. We are a huge organization, multi-million-dollar budgets. We need to become much more professional, which means that we need to handle things more openly, transparently. Processes need to be in place, implemented, and enforced. The board's job is, in a lot of cases, is to make sure that the right processes are there. If not, to build those processes. And implementation has to be done through committees and through professionals that are going to be there. It's important for us to be open and transparent with everything. And also at the same time, we need to let our imam and ustad work on the iman part, but we are running this masjid. We should not be involved, in these cross-functional things. There's many more. Some of them will be listed in my views.
So my previous experience with the board, obviously at that time we were very heavily involved with the construction, so we may have overlooked many things because we wanted to have this masjid built in time, and alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with that. Something that I have missed greatly in our time is in our board that we had a greater participation when we did our fundraisings. We had the fundraising outside. Nobody ever done that before anywhere in the Metroplex, and we were the first one to start the fundraising because there was a momentum within the community. And I think one of the things that brings the community together is the food. So, we used to have a lot of barbecue events. Some brother mentioned about the town hall. So last town hall meeting, it did not go well, but we definitely would like to have some kind of a sitting. The one that we used to have once a month, people bring food and we sit down together and we talk openly, meet with each other, because we have many new people here than so-called the Apicians.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Just a heads up, inshallah we will conclude this program by 9:45. It's a work day. 9:45. It's a work day. Tomorrow is a work day. Children have to go to school. We have to go to work, inshallah ta'ala. So whatever questions we can cover, inshallah, between now and then. The next question is, the community has doubled, but the Sunday school is shrinking or has shrunk. Any plan to improve on the Sunday school visibility? Let me know if you need me to reread the question.
Sorry. Yeah, so I think I didn't understand the question, and it also goes back into the previous question that was asked about how can we sustain EPIC. And to be honest with you, Sunday School is one of the programs that generates a lot of revenue for EPIC. So we need to do a better job at, and I think one of the challenges that we have is because of the open space that we have, there's some challenges associated with that, but inshallah when we have the multipurpose hall built, we will have more classrooms, and we have to run it professionally like any other school, including doing the marketing for the Sunday school and developing online tools for student registration, fees payment, etc.
So, and that's a very good point, that the Sunday school is definitely a source of revenue, but also keep in mind that 90% of the children in this community go to public schools, so they don't have the luxury or be lucky enough to go to Islamic schools and get the education the Islamic education that is necessary. Sunday school very important void, fills that very important void. Continuity is a big problem among most masajids. I myself ran the Sunday school in the early days here, so I know how difficult it was to make sure that we continue to do, and these children who are going to stay with the Sunday school for many years. But obviously we are doing something wrong, so we need to review that. We need to see what the processes need to be put into place to keep that continuity going, to keep the right teachers, to keep the right administrators, and to keep all of the right curriculum in place to help build these kids.
So I'm not sure about the current status of the Sunday school, but I do see a lot of activities. My son himself, he have volunteered here, and a lot of other youth, they are volunteering as a teacher. Just by looking at from the outside, looks like the Sunday school is running okay in the sense that we have activity. But indeed, our facility is very restricted. We don't have many classrooms to do that. So inshallah, with the new facility, because you have to have classrooms and to expand. And I'm sure we're going to work with West Plano Masjid, because I heard they have a huge enrollment up there. So we definitely can learn from them how they're using their new classrooms and facility. But inshallah, with the new facility coming, we will be able to expand and generate more revenue, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Riyad Chaudhry. I think we need, brother just said, West Plano, sometimes you don't need to invent the wheel, just look into that, how they are doing it. And I do think that we need the volunteer versus teacher ratio need to be adjusted. We do have volunteers, but we do need right teachers. I mean, alhamdulillah, I have 3 kids, all of them used to go to Sunday school. And 3 or 4 years ago, whatever their learning curve was, it went down. It went way down. So I had to do, in-home, had a teacher coming in and teach them, one-to-one, because I couldn't afford it. They're going from 6 to 7 to 8. They need to learn, and so I had to do that. So I think the ratio need to be adjusted. We need to hire more teachers. Jazakallah.
Yeah, for Sunday school, initially I think we did adopt what you call the curriculum from the Plano Masjid, and we had the volunteers, so we need to look again what is missing. But the other things, I will make a point on it, that's for Sunday school, we should not make money on it. The reason I'm saying it, because 90% kids, they are going public school. When our kids will be grown, the one they are coming into the masjid, you will see the masjid will be empty, because the generation we're going to lose. So we need to make sure we don't increase the fees that much. That is a fact. We should approach originally, we should market, we should bring the kids originally from the public school they are going, they should be part of it. So increase the enrollment and the quality of the education. But we should not charge too much on a Sunday school.
I'm sure there is some data points for this question, but being part of the current board, I can tell, and I've seen Brother Abdullah, who's our liaison for the Sunday school, the trend is going upwards for Sunday school, and we have the data points for that, alhamdulillah. Of course, is it at the point where you step back and say, is this good enough for us? Nothing is good enough, inshallah. However, I see that we can basically, looking at the data points that we have used to measure quantitatively what's the progress of the Sunday school, you will start to see that it's going upwards, mashallah. There's a lot of strategic work that has been done. Again, this is from me learning from the board. Inshallah, you will see if they just follow the same process, inshallah, as we move forward, you will start to see a change. But it will take a little bit of time. But the strategic work has already been done and put on the ground already. Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Jazakumullahu khairan. The next question, and perhaps this will be the last question. Do any of you have a plan for an Islamic library in the masjid?
Yes, that is such an important aspect of running a masjid. And I was saddened to see when this design was put together that there wasn't one. Actually, in the original one, we actually did have one. So it is very, very essential, and I hope that we can solve that, because books is a legacy for us Muslims. Our knowledge and of the Islamic, whether it's history or tib or astronomy, it's all built on books. So it's such an important aspect, and I will tell you that is something that I am very passionate about, and it needs to be part of every masjid.
Into Islamic Ahmad, and to add to what Brother Khalid just mentioned, online sources as well. We have our youth that surf the internet all day. We have to have capabilities where we build a portal where we have verified books to read, not only for age groups but different situations. So an online library as well, where the Imam and Ustad would verify the content and at least have recommendations on what to read. Because if you Google it, you're going to get different views. So physical books as well as online portals that at least point our children and adults in the right direction if they're going through a situation they want guidance or depression or whatever it may be. At least give them some online resources to read.
Assalamu alaikum. West Plano Masjid, they already have Islamic library, and we drive all the way to there. I have driven to take my kids, and they loved it. And I'm eager to see our own, so we have the convenience to be here more often. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, library, we should have the library, and then also we need to, not only the Islamic, also the material, we need to have other material for the kids also can be verified, and it could be put it for their reading also. So when they're growing, so they can be proud American Muslim also. So there is lots of material that we can, filter it and then put it in our library. Libraries must.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it was very sad to see it was removed. It was originally planned, as Brother Khalid mentioned, the master plan. There should be every part of every masjid. And now we need to find a way to make a room and then be part of it.
Okay, Jazakumullahu khairan. I'll just make a brief closing remarks, and then I will have Imam Nadeem conclude the program with a dua. This is my earnest desire and plea to all of us here, that find within your hearts to forgive each other. We expect Allah's forgiveness. How can we deserve Allah's forgiveness if we don't forgive others? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's daughter Aisha radiallahu anha, in that incident of ifk, she was accused of a very serious sin. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu stopped the stipend that he used to give to one of his relatives because he became involved in that slander. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down ayah that it does not befit people whom Allah has shown fadl, his fadl, that they hold back the bounty. And then Abu Bakr not only reinstituted that stipend, but he actually increased it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that sabaqat rahmati ghadabi, my rahmah has overcome my wrath. And if Allah were to deal with us only with His justice, no one will be saved. It is only His mercy through which we are saved. So please forgive each other, because we are all human beings. We have made mistakes. As Isa alayhi salam told this person who was, maligning this woman who had committed a serious sin. So Isa alayhi salam said that let he who has never committed a sin cast the first stone. So we all are guilty. Every day we are seeking Allah's forgiveness, right? So our strength, we are strong only because we are united. When we divide, our strength departs. And if you think about this, that our blood, the Muslim blood, is being shed left and right, mass rapes in Myanmar, how could we even afford to again be divided at a macro level or micro level? Allah has given us authority over these 12 acres of land. Imagine we are a mirror. If we can't be united on these 12 acres of land, how can we do something bigger at a city level, at a state level, at a national level, right? So this is my plea to all of you, and Jazakumullahu khairan. And I thank the audience, wherever the audience remains, and the sisters. I know this is the trend. After 15 minutes, a group of people leave. After 30 minutes, but alhamdulillah, we did it in a very civil manner, respectful manner, and inshallah, let's continue this trend. And I'd like Imam Nadeem to say the concluding dua, inshallah.
My only thing I will say to all of you is that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help be with you all, inshallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us ikhlas in whatever we do, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ فِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَالصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ نَشْهَدُ أَن لَّا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ نَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَنَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.